And congratulations on the work that the Rotary does around the world, because I know you guys are going to continue to do that. And for the visitors, get involved. Get involved with the Rotary Club, because they do a lot of good work. So congratulations to all of the members that are here today and the visitors. And now, if you have any questions, first of all, I would like to say that if Calvin Griffith had this type of a crowd at the old Met, he would have been very happy. Because there are some days, some lean years, that we didn't have this many people in the city. But we still had to go out and play anyway. So if you have any questions that you'd like to throw at me, I'll try and dodge them or answer them the best way I can.
Don.
Do you have a mic or not?
We're taking.
Well, I'll try to speak loudly. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming to Minnesota. I would like to just make an observation. Back in the late 60s, we had both you and Tony Oliva on the Minnesota Twins team. And we didn't fully appreciate, I think, the fact that we had two of the very best hitters in baseball playing on the same team. And I was at the inauguration into the Hall of Fame of Kirby Puckett and Dave Winfield. And one of the important events, of course, is that Sunday afternoon event when the new inductees are requested to give a speech. Do you remember any part of the speech you gave when you were inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame at Cooperstown?
Yes, I do.
Can you share a little bit of the thoughts?
Well, the first person that I think was Calvin Griffith. When I found out that I was elected to the Hall of Fame, I called Mr. Griffith at 2 o'clock in the morning. I think he lived in Helena, Montana. And I called him because as a young player growing up, I was a very hot-headed kid. And I don't know how Calvin, stayed with me. But he always said that I was going to do great things on the field. And when a lot of people were saying to him, send him back to the minor leagues, let him get some more season in, he stuck his head out and allowed me to stay at the major league level. And I could go in and talk to him about anything. The toughest time that I ever had with Calvin was talking contract. Anything else, it was very easy for him to do. So he was the first person that I called. My mother was the second, because she's the one that really gave me the opportunity by bringing bats and gloves for me to play with. Billy Martin was another one that was very important to me, because Billy became my mentor, and most of you in this room knew what Billy stood for. Billy would fight in a minute in a bar. Didn't matter. Billy was just a fighter. Billy even knocked down a couple of our players here once in Detroit in an alley. But he became my mentor, and he taught me a lot about handling myself. I was like a yo-yo when I was up and down. I used to go up and down. One day I was good, the next day I was angry, the next day I was good. So I was like a yo-yo bouncing up and down. And Billy pulled me into his office one time, and he said, you've got to try and maintain an even keel. Because if you stay on an even keel, good things are going to happen. And I looked at him and I said, you've got some nerve telling me so. So ever since then, I've kind of stayed on that even keel, throughout my career. I never worried about making outs or striking outs, because I always thought that, there's always tomorrow. But those are the three people that I really, in my speech, that I acknowledge, because they're very important to me.
I have a question. Is it true that your lifetime batting average is over 300? What is that?
Don, if you was already introduced, Don was my best man at my first wedding. And we've been friends. We're like brothers ever since 1970. We've been brothers. My lifetime batting average is 328 over 19 years at the major league level.
I'm glad you're in the honest mode. What is your golf handicap? I assure everybody in this room, his real name is Sandbagger.
Well, I just started playing golf about 5 years ago, and this is a Dodger party. And because in baseball, when everybody was playing golf, I was into photography. I picked up photography in 1972. So whenever I traveled on the road with the team, I always had cameras, and I always left the hotel and wandered off just to get away from baseball itself and find some relaxation taking pictures of different things in the different cities. So I picked up golf, I think, about 5 years ago, and I started out playing military golf, which was left. I was all over the place. And the only two things that I do left-handed is I hit and I play golf. And they were trying to change me to play right-handed, but I didn't feel comfortable, so I play left-handed. And Don, I think my handicap is 12.
Thank you. First time I heard an honest answer.
How many holes in one do you have, Rod?
6.
Oh.
6. And those are all luck. You know, you hit it up towards the green and you Yeah, I had 2 within the space of 2 months, which kind of I was surprised at. But, you know, it's one of the toughest games that I've ever played. I could stand at home plate and hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball coming at me, and I was never afraid. And now I can stand over a golf ball and I have all these things going through me. You know, all these things. Where, you know, at home plate, I used to see it and react to it and hit it. Now I wonder about taking my club back, trying to hit the ball straight. Just all these crazy little things. And I found out that golf is a very tough sport. So when I see the guys do it on television and see how easy they do it, I compliment those guys.
Rod, I never saw you steal home. I saw you play a few games, but I don't think I ever saw you steal home. I was amazed to hear today you did it 17 times. Why doesn't anybody do it anymore? I go to 20 games a year. I've never seen anybody do it.
Well, I think pitching coaches are smarter today. Because if a guy gets on third base and he can run, they go to the stretch. So you can't get a good jump that way. Back, you know, when I played, guys would just continue to go to the windup, and they knew that if I'm in third, that there's that chance that I was going to try and do it. So today, you might see them on the back end of a double steal, the guy stealing second and the guy at third stealing home. I'd never done it that way. All of the steals that I did were straight steals. But they're holding the runners on at third base now. They're not giving them that liberty. When I played, the liberty that I have is I took a few walking steps, and before the pitcher got to a certain point up here, I was about 3/4 of the way down the line. So it was very easy for me to do it. They don't allow you to do that anymore.
Who's your favorite manager to work for?
I had 2, Billy Martin and Gene Mock. Billy, because he had no rules. All he expected you to do was to come out every day and play the game the right way. And Gene Mock,